Hi everybody, it's Maria and I wanted to talk to you about what I read during Read-O-Rama. Now I didn't read exactly everything that I'd planned to read. I read some other things that I hadn't planned on reading, and that's kind of the point of a Read-O-Rama or a bookathon is just to do what you want and to have fun with all the choices you surround yourself with. So I'm considering it a success. That said, I will start with the books that I finished and then move on to the ones that I didn't finish, which are several. It's okay. And if I fulfilled a requirement, I'll try and remember to tell you. First up is Stitches by Lamott, a handbook on meaning, hope, and repair. And what I really love about Lamott, if you haven't read her before, she does do fiction and nonfiction. But what I really enjoy are her nonfiction kind of faith memoirs. She does a lot of little essays, so they're very easy to pick up and put down again. This one's very, very short. And she is a very loving, inclusive person. The way she views divinity and faith is to weave yourself together with community and to try and repair one another. And that's kind of what the Stitches is referring to. I loved it. I did want to read you this quote in it. It says, "If there is a God, and most days I do think there is, he or she does not need us to bring hope and new life back into our lives, but keeps letting us help." And I just thought that was kind of a beautiful, beautiful thing to just know that sometimes we don't have to fix everything. We kind of take it as it comes and we fix each other. Yeah, so it's a cute one. Not even cute. It packs a good punch. Some good stories, lots of little nuggets to think on. And if you can find an Anne Lamott book, pick it up. Next up is The Odd Couple by Neil Simon. This is actually a play. My husband and I went and saw Rumors last month and really enjoyed it. I really want to read that script actually, but the library had this one, so I picked it up. Most people are familiar with either the reboot with Matthew Perry, which is a show, or the Walter Matthau version from ages ago. And it was cute. I thought Rumors was better, actually. Wasn't expecting that. But maybe it was because I also knew kind of how it was going to go, so there wasn't as much surprise. Yeah, so if you want to pick up plays, are also a great thing for a readathon because you can sneak them in an hour or two. The next one I read was a much bigger undertaking, and it was Diana Gabaldon, yes, Outlander. And this fulfilled the requirement for starting a new series as well as Irish elements. I know this is not filmed in Ireland, not written in Ireland. I don't really care. He wore a kilt. There was some Celtic stuff. It made me feel Irish in the kind of nuance in the setting. This one has been around for a very long time. This is actually the 20th edition. My mom has been begging me to read this for a very long time so she could talk about it because she's now going through the reread of the series. I'm excited to pick it up and continue on with it. Very steamy, if that's a thing for you. It's in there. Also, there are some trigger warnings for rape and kind of those kinds of things. The villain in here, wow, very sadistic. Oh my gosh. I really want to know what his childhood was like. I'm sure I'll get some backstory on that in the future, but definitely has some severe issues he should be going to therapy for. But I loved the romantic element in this. I loved their back and forth between Jamie and Claire. They really don't put up with anything from anybody. And the sister character, Jenny, actually was just feisty, and I loved that too. So yes, also very thick. It went towards my I am afraid of big books challenge that I'm working on this year because I'm trying to read books over 500 pages. So this one fulfilled a lot of elements for a lot of challenges. Thank you, Diana Gabaldon. So yes, if you've read Outlander, or yeah, if you watch the show and you're curious about it, definitely pick it up. But yeah, definitely triggers all over the place. Next up is Giants by John Stauffer, and this is a parallel biography of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. Now, I kind of want to talk about this one in conjunction with Bill Bryson's Shakespeare, which I'm halfway through. Only in that these books reminded me that historical figures, which we have in our minds all the time, are such complex characters, but they're humans. And so we might know little bits about them, maybe enough to fill a paragraph, or if we've read a lot more, a couple pages of stark facts, whatever that is. But these people were people that struggled with their humanity. They struggled with loss. They had to figure out what their political and religious beliefs were on things. Lincoln, who I adore, was not always what people make him out to be. Several points he advocated sending slaves back to Africa because he thought that it would be better for everyone there. I think he changed his views on several things because of conversations he had with Douglas and other people, but also because of his political plots, I suppose, that he had to kind of navigate. Douglas also had a journey changing from what he thought about blackness and whiteness, and got a lot of flack from people late in life about being too much white and not enough black. It's just, there's so many complex things that we struggle with that people in history also struggled with, and we just kind of write them down as these flat characters. So I really appreciated this book because, and Bryson's as well, because Bryson talks about how Shakespeare, the things that we know about Shakespeare really cannot fill a whole book on themselves. The culture of Shakespeare, yes. The things we speculate about Shakespeare, yes. But we really don't know as much as we think we know about anybody. I mean, if you think about all the things that you know about yourself that nobody else knows. I always remember looking out the window on road trips and seeing all these different people in all their cars and imagining them as their own universe with their own families and friends and problems and beliefs. And we're all kind of rotating universes around each other. And yeah, these historical figures really, same way. They had journeys and went back and forth like we did. I always tell my kids that nobody's all good or all bad. They're just kind of an amalgam of things. And so it was really cool to kind of see what different people speculated about these men, as well as things that they said and did that maybe surprised us. So yeah. Next up is Travels with Charley by John Steinbeck. This is fulfilling my reading through John Steinbeck challenge, but also for Read-O-Rama, we're supposed to pick a cover with an animal on the cover. So there's Charley. John Steinbeck went in a camper with his dog Charley across the United States. And so this is about his travels. It is nonfiction. What I love about Steinbeck is he loves ordinary people, and he loves kind of imagining backstories and what makes people the way they are. So one of my favorite encounters so far is just him talking about a waitress who seemed to be miserable about everything. And he thought about tipping her more, but then also thought she wouldn't appreciate it because she would just complain about the next thing. And I don't know, it was just, again, that whole idea of people being a universe in themselves kind of just struck me this week. Next, I am halfway through Brave New World reread. I'm hoping to do a video on 1984 and Brave New World in the next couple weeks. This is Aldous Huxley. If you don't know, if you've not read this, I don't know, go read it. Also, I will say, I'll say more later, but it is very different reading this as a parent, especially of younger children, than as being a hormonally charged teenager. There were several things that I just kept thinking, wow, I probably read this completely differently 20 years ago. So there's that. Next up is another one, hormonally charged. And this is Come As You Are, The Surprising New Science That Will Transform Your Sex Life by Emily Nagoski. I've talked about this before. It's a reread for me, but I'm going through it and making notes for my partner because I love him. And yeah, sorry, Aaron, as I spread this all over the internet. This book, if you love a female or are a female, please pick it up. Emily is all about teaching you about your own body, but also recognizing that normal doesn't exist. Whatever you are is perfectly fine, and you work with that. So I really appreciate the way she talks about it, the way she talks about communicating what you know, what you like, what you don't know. And I really love this book. I've given it away as gifts before. Yes, pick it up. It's totally, and it's not dry either. I mean, there is some science in this, but this is definitely not dry. And you come away feeling empowered and worthy and beautiful. And again, how do you want more out of a book? If you love a female or are a female, pick it up. Do yourself a favor. And finally, I'm doing a reread of Love Warrior by Glennon, Doyle, Melton. This fulfills the mental illness or physical illness because she does struggle with alcoholism, as well as her husband kind of struggles with some sex addiction things. In here, very frank memoir. It's interesting going through it as a reread because when I read it, she had not gotten with her girlfriend, Abby, at that point. And I've followed her on Facebook and several other things. And I've kind of grown to know her more as a person from those things. So it's interesting kind of melding that with the book version of her. So again, I really recommend this one as well. So that is what I did for Read-O-Rama. I just had books around me all the time and I picked them up as much as I could. And that's how you do reading. So I would love to hear, did you do Read-O-Rama? Put the link to your videos down below. If you wanted to do it and didn't, why'd you do that? No, I don't care. But you put down what you're reading in the links below, because I would love to see what other people are reading. And yeah, if you've read any of these, I'd love to hear your comments on them because I love the discussion. I'll talk to you all later. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.